In today's memory card episode, I speak to Luna Simpson, CEO and Technical Art Director at Blueshift Interactive. Luna was a great guest with even greater answers, so I hope you all enjoy memory card number 6. Hello and welcome back to the Hall of Games podcast. I'm Sam Hall, and for this memory card episode I am joined by a CEO, a technical art director and a wonderful human being. It's Luna Simpson. Hi Luna.
Hiya.
So before we dive into the memory card questions, as I said in the intro, you are the CEO and technical art director of Blueshift Interactive. Can you tell the audience about Blueshift and what your role entails?
Yeah, so Blueshift, that's an indie studio that I started with my business partner, George Gordon, in 2023. We're based up here in Nottingham with a studio kind of built out of our house, which is great. And we're working on our first IP, which is XGravity. XGravity is a gravity-defying skater. You chain insane combos and build like a following on the in-game social media and blaze through missions for cosmic weirdos, and it's all set in an alien psychedelic metropolis, and it's a love letter to skate culture. And we're really excited about it.
I was lucky enough to play a short demo for XGravity at Nottingham Video Games Expo a couple of months ago now, and I spoke to you and George a little about the game. But I was wondering, like, if you had to say two games which maybe inspired XGravity off the top of your head, maybe which games would you say?
There's the one obvious one,
Yeah.
which is obviously Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is a huge influence for us.
Yeah.
But we don't want to just copy what they're doing. We really want to expand upon that gameplay and what fans love about the Tony Hawk series, and even bringing back some elements from Tony Hawk's Underground, the career mode, and do missions for these kind of crazy characters. And then the second game, it's a shame that you've limited me to 2, because I would actually say there's 3.
You can say the third as well. Go on.
I would say the third one. The second one might sound weird, but Super Mario Galaxy, kind of relevant given the recent movie reveal, which is nice. But yeah, big game from my childhood, and we basically looked at that game a lot for reference on how to build this crazy gravity mechanic where you can kind of skate on any surface, and that's very much the inspiration for the level design language and how the system works in the game. And then that third elusive game is Simpson Hit and Run.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Every time you say it, everyone's like, oh, yeah, because it's classic, right? I mean, me growing up, that was my GTA.
Yeah.
I wasn't like GTA. I loved Simpson Hit and Run because I could go around and kick people and they would just roll on the floor and, get in a car and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we wanted to take the mission system and the irreverent characters and a bit of that slapstick humor, as well as obviously that kind of bright Futurama inspired art style. So yeah, those are the 3 games that really inspired what XGravity is.
Okay, yeah, no, those are cool answers, and I wasn't expecting Simpsons Hit and Run, and I'm really happy to hear that. I used to love that game. In fact, I've just recently found my old PS2, so maybe I'll boot that up at some point.
It's one of the few games I've still got the disc for, because it's I've got it on PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
I remember going into a game station or something.
Yeah.
I think it's even still got the price tag on it.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, when I was a kid, and I remember my brother had just gone to a dentist appointment, and he was able to pick up a game, and my parents were like, oh, well, you can pick up something small because he's getting that. And I picked up Simpsons Hit and Run and absolutely loved it.
Great choice. Okay, so a quick reminder for viewers and new viewers, the idea of these memory card questions is to learn more about the guests through the games that they've played. And ultimately, this will create a database for people to go to if they want to learn more about a person in the industry. So, Luna, your first memory card question. What was your first games console?
Yeah, so I had to think back about this because I have like quite a few memories in my head, and as you get older, you start to question which one came first. But I'm pretty sure it was the PS1. Like, I remember, yeah, the PS1 playing like Rugrats, Toy Story, the Harry Potter games, and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely on the PS1, and I think it's just such a short memory because I think we moved on to the PS2 very quickly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was also PS1, and I always find it hard to think back to first games console and stuff like that. It's
There's
all
been
just
so
so
many.
jumbled. Yeah, there's been so many. Exactly. And what was the first game you remember playing then? Was it one of those?
Yeah, yeah. So, the first game I remember playing would have been the first Jack and Daxter. I remember my uncle, who got me into a lot of like the geek culture stuff. I remember he went to the video shop with us. I can't remember what it was called, but it's essentially like a blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember picking up Jack and Daxter for a few days and trying to beat it, and we just kept renting it out. And then eventually, my parents were like, "Why are we renting this out? Let's buy it.
Yeah.
You keep playing it."
Yeah.
And yeah, like Jack and Daxter actually has a bit of history in Blueshift as well, as it's the game that kind of brought myself and my business partner together nearly a decade ago. So
Oh,
it's got
wow.
a lot of history for me.
Yeah. How did it bring you two together?
Yeah, so like George and I have a long history together
Yeah.
in the sense that 10 years ago I started studying my degree, and George was studying like at the same time, but a completely different uni. We'd never met before, and at the end of our first year, we were working on like a fan project for Jack and Daxter, and the guy who was running it in our uni, like he must have put some job adverts out there because George jumped in on it, and we just got talking, and we would like exchange like knowledge all the time, and yeah, we just became friends and ended up working together at Sumo Digital, like
Oh, I
towards the
see.
end of our tenure, our unis respectively. So, like I say, it's a long story full of like coincidences
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is a lot of coincidences. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool. What is your favorite game of all time?
This was a difficult one for me to answer. I think it has to be Halo 3. And I really had to think about this because I have lots of contending favorites, but I think it's the emotional attachment to Halo 3. I remember like playing bits of it when I wasn't allowed to, right? Like I said, my parents were quite strict. I remember playing some of it with my cousins, and we were playing like on the Forge mode, and he was just sitting in the Scorpion tank on Zanzibar. And I found the Spartan layers, and I kept just trying to kill him, and he kept getting me, and it was great. Ever since like I played like 30 minutes of that, I was like, I really need to play this. And when I finally did get myself an Xbox 360, my auntie actually lent me Halo 3, not knowing that I wasn't allowed it, and I finished it before my mum could find it.
Oh no.
And then she found it, and she was like, "What is this?" And I'm just like, doesn't matter. I finished
Oh,
it.
you've done it now. Yeah, too late.
Or painted. It's a game I could always come back to. Like I love the multiplayer, and the campaign just absolutely rocks. Like
Yeah.
I love coming back to it. It's just hands down. That's got to be it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would agree with you. I still need to play all of the Halo games. I'd never had an Xbox growing up.
Wow.
Yeah, my sister.
You PlayStation.
Yeah, I was like PlayStation all the
Yeah.
way. I think I had like a Game Boy. Well, I had like a Game Boy Advance at one point, but I was just PlayStation coded from the start, I think. Also, my sister, her and her dad, they had an Xbox, and so occasionally I'd go around and play Jet Set Radio or something on there.
Yeah.
So what game do you have the most hours in, and how many hours?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I don't know the exact amount of hours, but I managed to estimate it,
Mhm.
and it's RuneScape.
Okay.
Because growing up, I used to play a lot of RuneScape. I would get home from school, I'd play RuneScape. I'll be in school, I'd be doodling my RuneScape character and what I want them to look like. Like that. That was
great.
my life. I had a lot of fun memories because it was like a community, not just a game, right? Because of the whole multiplayer aspect. And I think I calculated I have probably roughly in the range of like 4 to 6 thousand hours in it.
Wow.
It's hard to estimate because I have multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Um, I remember they only added like the counter feature to show you how much you've played, like towards the end of when I stopped playing. I traded that addiction in for learning game dev.
Okay. That's a good trade.
Yeah. So instead of playing that for hours on an end, I was teaching myself like how to code, how to 3D model, how to like write OpenGL, C++. My dad would come in and be like, "Stop playing games" at like 10 p.m. I'm like, "I'm not. I'm teaching
Learning.
myself playing." And he never got it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good addiction to trade.
That is good. Were you in your head thinking, oh, if maybe one day if I've got the skills, I could make a game like RuneScape? Were you thinking that?
Oh, right. I always come back to this.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to make a game that kind of captures that same feeling. Because RuneScape is doing like a lot of very interesting things. Like in spite of like whatever opinion you may have of it. And I really would like to capture that feeling of being in like an alien world and like trying to figure out, what you're doing. And I don't know, there's many aspects to it. I sometimes come back to this and I might make like a little game design document, just like a very quick one, just like figuring out maybe what would I do. But I don't know. I think the games industry landscape has changed too much to make a game like RuneScape again in the same way.
Yeah.
Just because of like how risky multiplayer games are.
Yeah.
But maybe one day I'll capture like elements of that, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. And yeah, it has changed to a point where you're fighting for people who are so cemented in Fortnite or their other MMOs or any of the other games they're playing.
Exactly, and not to go on a too long tangent, but multiplayer games are in a huge risk area right now, which is a complete U-turn in what it used to be.
Yeah.
Because the investors used to want to see that. They used to want to see like, hey, let's invest in these live service games because it's just a money machine rather than just a one-off purchase.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of like going backing that because players only have so much time and attention and money to spend. Fortnite, Roblox, and Call of Duty have kind of like cannibalized that landscape a little bit.
Yeah. What is a popular game you have not played yet but want to?
Yeah. Okay. So everyone keeps telling me I need to play Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah.
And I can see this, right? I have this problem where there are games and films and properties that I should like by definition because I like X, therefore I should like Y, but don't. So like, I can't really get into Lord of the Rings. I've watched them all. I just don't really find it interesting.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate is kind of like one of those things where I'm not sure if I could get into it.
Okay.
If I was me 10 years ago, I would already be playing it.
Yeah.
But because I have such like a limited amount of time, I find it really hard to get into those really deep RPGs.
Yeah.
Especially with all the turn-based combat. And I watched a friend play it recently, and they were playing for like an hour and a half, and it felt like the game didn't move forward very much.
That's fair.
Maybe that's my attention span draining as well.
I mean,
but one day I will play it.
Yeah.
One day I will.
I think
I'm sure I'll love it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will as well. It is very good. there is definitely something to be said about like how big it is. I've still not finished it. I've sort of had long breaks of not playing and then playing, and I'm like really close to the end, and then it's like
Yeah.
I don't really want it to end, so I've not gone back and like done the final bit. But yeah, it is a massive game, so yeah, just wait for it. Feel
Yeah.
free to wait.
It's a similar story of like Persona. Like
Mm.
I tried playing a bit of Persona, and I was like, wow, I have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It seems interesting. I like the premise.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the premise just changes very quickly.
Right.
I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. It's all happening so quickly. And then someone tells me, "Oh, you're 5 hours in. You're still in the tutorial." Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm in the tutorial still?
Yeah, that is a long tutorial.
Yeah, I know it's one of those games, but I'm sure it's worth it. And
Mm.
I'm sure it's just that cultural, difference because it is coming from an Eastern developer. But
Mm.
yeah, again, one day I will get around to that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have a popular game that you will never play as well? Like you just won't even think about it. You're not going to play it.
I think people are going to hate me when I say this one, but it's got to be Elden Ring. It's in a
Oh,
similar vein of games where people say you should play it,
mm-hmm.
right? Like Baldur's Gate and Persona. But the problem for me is I feel like I've experienced the parts of Elden Ring which people say that I should play it for, like the exploration elements and such. But I'm not really like into the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of narrative and the giant boss fights and such. Like I'm not really into that stuff
Mm-hmm.
or the difficult combat. While I appreciate that it exists, I just don't know if it's really for me. And again, I think the biggest problem isn't actually the game itself. I think it's just the oversaturation of Souls games
Mm-hmm.
because there's like so many of them. I'm like, okay, I've kind of seen this before, you know. But if you've got a counterpoint to that,
I'm trying to think
I'll
of one.
hear it.
I'm trying to think of one, but yeah, I mean, again, it's so personal, and everything you
Yeah.
say is like, it is true. I wasn't sold on Elden Ring at all. The first Souls game I played was Demon Souls, the remake in
Mm.
2020 or whenever it was. And I didn't even finish that. So I don't know why I decided to play Elden Ring. Probably because everyone was giving it like 10 out of 10. By the end of Elden Ring, I did love it. It is an amazing game. And what I like about it is that as soon as it's too hard or as soon as it's like just annoying, like you come across a boss that you find annoying, you go across and spend 5 hours doing something else, come back, and it's a walk in the park. I find that really rewarding. A bit like a Metroidvania in a way, weirdly.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the elements that would make me want to play because I really do like Metroidvania
Me too.
games, and I think it's really good game design as well to kind of offer players that option to try the boss, but then also give them the option to go skill up and come back and make it easier, which is something a bit like what roguelite games do versus roguelike.
Yeah.
I'm quite a fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite a fan of that because it gives players the choice. A bit like in Zelda, right? Players can go fight Ganon if they want
Yeah.
with a stick, and people have done it, but you
Madness.
probably shouldn't.
No. Yeah. No, that's cool. I've never really thought about comparing Elden Ring to a Metroidvania like that until you prompted me to say it. But yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
You'd be surprised by like how many games you can actually describe by mishmashing genres. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's usually how it happens these days.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny with Metroidvanias, like the description of it just sounds like any video game. When you describe Metroidvania to someone, they're just like, that just sounds like a video game.
I think it's trends, right? Because games pick up trends and then they go with it, and they almost create new genres.
Yeah.
But like Far Cry, if we talked about Far Cry, I don't know, 3 and 4 onwards, right? If we had those games 10 years before they came out, we might be describing more like an RPG. But now we see them as just like,
Yeah.
we don't even really think of them as an RPG,
No.
but they have elements of that. The lines start to blur between like what an RPG originally was defined as. Like originally, shooters were classed as Doom clones, and
That's
now
really
it's
funny.
their own thing. And
Yeah.
they've evolved past just first-person shooter. You have third-person shooter. You have Twitch street, shooter. You've got arcade. It evolves, right?
Yeah.
We'll eventually run out of genres, I think, that we can
Oh yeah.
create
Yeah,
and mission.
probably. Yeah, probably. We'll see.
I'll be really interested to see what happens when that point does happen. Like when there's a game
Yeah.
that exists in every niche of every genre.
Yeah, I wonder
We'll
if
see.
I wonder how much like tech will change from now, like gaming tech. Like obviously
Yeah,
VR's like half mainstream now. I wouldn't even say that, to be honest. I wonder if like AR games will. I mean, we've sort of toyed with them a bit, but like I wonder if they'll become prominent in the future. But yeah, who
yeah.
knows?
It's an interesting one because if headsets were more affordable, I think we would have a very different gaming landscape because of VR.
Yeah.
And I remember playing Half-Life Alyx when it came out, and I was like, "This is going to change the gaming landscape."
Yeah.
And it's so weird that it hasn't. It really should have, because it did so many things well that normal games, I guess you would call flat screen
Yeah,
games,
flat screen.
aren't even doing, and it's doing it in VR. And I'm like, what's going to come next? I guess
Yeah.
maybe whatever Valve are working on at the moment, whether that be a new Half-Life IP, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe that will move things forward. We'll see.
Maybe. I still believe in VR. I just think for it to, like you say, for it to work, there has to be like an investment from the consumer, and there has to
Yeah,
be the games to draw them there. And there's not enough games there to draw them there when you can just sit at your screen and play hundreds and
yeah.
thousands of amazing games. But
I think it's unfortunately, like I said, it's all down to investment and where the money.
yeah,
Like Sony really wanted to invest in PSVR 2, but I could probably count the amount of PSVR 2 games that came out
yeah,
on one hand.
that's exactly it. They half invested. Yeah.
Yeah, and not to badmouth Sony, but they did close down the studio which was responsible for all their PSVR 2 games.
Yeah.
And then, essentially sunsetted that immediately within the headset coming out. And, Meta, they're no better with what they've done, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do go through this period of like, I'll pick up my VR headset because I've got a Quest 3S, right? And I'll play a game that really like amazes me, and I'll go, wow. And then I'll play like another VR game and I go, that's not nearly as good. And I'll put down the headset.
Yeah.
Then I'll pick it up in 3 months and I'll play something amazing again. Like I got it mainly for Arkham Shadow.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, wow, this
Really?
is not just amazing, but this is running on a mobile VR headset.
Wow. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. What game had the biggest impact on you, perhaps due to the circumstances around you as you played it?
Yes. So this is an easy one to answer. And if anyone does go looking up my credentials and stuff, this might become obvious. But Dishonored. So Dishonored and Dishonored 2. The reason for that is because, so to start the story, I first tried Dishonored in my teens and I couldn't really get into it because it was on the 360 and I think it just wasn't a very good port, to be honest. But then I tried playing it in my second year of my studies at uni. So this would be, again, a decade ago. And I was playing that and I was like, yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and like recreate parts of that.
Oh.
And it kind of started this like fan project that was just me. And I recreated some of the mechanics like Blink with like VFX, and eventually I was like, okay, I've done that. I need to add in like the model with like the knife and stuff. And then I would have like the outsider mark and it would glow. And it started to like gain some traction. And at the same time, I started to begin my career professionally in the games industry. Ironically, the client was like, this is what we want. Can you help with that? And I was like, well, now that you mention it, that exact thing I have just done.
No way.
So I made like a scene where you had like a dynamic rain system, and
Yeah.
it would like puddle up in between the cobblestones, and it was all like
Wow.
just dynamic on the fly. Um, and I showed them that, and I won the contract, and I got to work on my first AAA game,
Oh wow.
which was Vampire the Masquerade Blood
Uh,
Hunt.
oh, Bloodhunt. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think I thought it was Bloodlines too because it was a little bit. I think it was a bit ambiguous, and I'm not sure what happened internally. Whether like maybe it was or they reused assets, but um, yeah, like that was the first game I worked on. I did a lot of VFX for the characters. I did a lot of environment work, the shaders and whatnot,
Yeah.
and it was all like kind of based on what I did there. But it doesn't end at that point. So for my final year project at uni, which was going to be like 6 months of my time, I basically decided like I'm going to take this project, I'm going to make it into a tech demo which shows off what I can do, not just as a artist in the game industry, but also like as a technical artist, technical designer kind of role, which is this weird hybrid role. If
Mm.
anyone doesn't know, it's kind of like a newish role in the last 10, 15 years, where you're like between art and code, and you do
Mm.
this kind of more creative side of technical, and more technical side of the creative.
Yeah.
So like complex VFX and shaders, stuff like that. So I decided to make this, and I ended up just kind of getting really lost in it and just making this level with full interiors that you could go in and little stories, and like I even put enemies in and my own
Oh.
powers and my own like little narrative around you being um not to spoil the ending of Death of the Outsider, but basically something happens with that. And I wanted your character to be the outsider himself. And it was like my idea for like what a new Dishonored game would kind of be.
Oh wow.
And again, like a lot of traction. I still get people messaging me about it today,
Really?
usually asking for the project files, of which I don't actually know if I have them, to be honest,
No way.
because it's such a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's on a hard drive somewhere. Um, but yeah, I used to post my work around, and that one got quite a bit of traction to the point where I actually had the developers from Arcane reach out to me, um,
No way.
basically trying to get me to come work with them. And I
Wow.
really, really wanted to.
Yeah.
I really wanted to work with them in Lyon. Um, but due to like my personal circumstances, I didn't end up doing
Right.
that. And I went to work on Sackboy: A Big Adventure
Oh,
instead.
that's a great
I
game.
thought of the story around that because
Yeah.
I've actually worked on it twice.
Oh.
Uh, but yeah, it just
Interesting.
kind of marked this like pivotal moment of
Mm.
getting recognized in my career, building my career, and then just
Yeah.
kind of like taking off like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of fond memories around it. And that's not even getting into like the systemic nature of the game, which I really enjoy. You know, like for example, the if you put an NPC in a bathtub, if their head is below the water level, they will actually
Mm.
drown, and it
Yeah.
counts as a kill.
Yeah.
Like to me, that was just like such creative
That's so cool.
game design. You know, built purely on systemic gameplay because
Hmm.
of how the gameplay systems were coded. And I really like that.
Yeah.
I wish we had more games like it.
Yes. Yeah. I completely agree. That's a great answer, by the way. That's an absolutely amazing answer to that question.
Yeah, as
I,
you can tell, video games have been intertwined with like lots of my life events.
yeah. I realized as you were speaking, I played a lot of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt.
Really,
Yeah, I know.
you might be one of the few.
I know. I think I was, and I don't. I don't know why I played so much of it. What year did this come out?
I thought you never got to play it.
Really?
No,
Well, it
no.
looked
Like
beautiful.
it came
That
out.
rain.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it like came out and it was like, um, oh, it's a battle royale, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I heard battle royale, and I was just like, no.
Yeah.
Which is funny because my partner and I actually got into playing Fortnite
Mm.
last year,
Oh,
and
nice.
now I'm actually like, okay, no, I see the appeal of a battle royale now, and I
Battle
probably would have
royales are
played
cool.
it.
I think that's probably why I played this game. I think I would have been playing Fortnite already, and then seen this. I think I saw it at some sort of showcase. Maybe there was a demo because I probably wouldn't have bought it. So maybe was it free to play?
Bloodhunt would have been free to play.
Okay, maybe it was like, oh, maybe I played like a beta or something. Maybe they had like a beta test.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely played it, and I played it for like longer than I knew I probably should have. Like, I remember being like, okay, I see what this is. No one else was playing it. None of my friends would play it. But I remember like, I loved the art style of it. I thought that was so cool, and I quite liked. I'm trying to remember the actual like gameplay. You had to like drink civilians' blood, didn't you?
Yes.
I thought that was really sick.
I remember like working with that in the test grounds that they had. Yeah, it was an interesting game, and like I've seen cinematics that they've spent millions on that have never been revealed, which baffles me. But it's such an interesting property. And originally, when I started on it, they actually wanted to make a game that was more like the Division,
right?
Is it the Darklands they call it? The PvP zone.
I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I don't think it's like the Division.
I've not played
Red Zone.
So I've not,
is that right?
Yeah, it's like I've not played the Division, but I'm aware that there is like a zone that you can go in, and it's just
the Dark
PvP.
Zone. That's what it's called.
Yeah. They really wanted it to the point where they were like citing stuff from the Snowdrop engines, being like, yeah, could we have like, self-lit particle effects and stuff like that, because Snowdrop did this thing, we really wanted to. Yeah, because I think a lot of those guys, they'd come off the Division or the Division 2 quite recently, and they were like quite high up on it as well, so that was like their reference point. Yeah, it's an interesting game. I'm actually looking at gameplay now just so I can see if any of my stuff is still
I can't believe you never played it. That's crazy.
I know, right?
Masterpiece, hidden gem, that one.
Yeah.
No, I remember enjoying that game. I was rubbish at it. I don't think I won a single game. But yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool to know you worked on that. Yeah, what was any of your stuff included in it? Can you tell?
Yeah, I think the puddle system is. Oh, yeah, I recognise that cobblestone. That might be I'm sure someone's touched it since then. Like, the shader. But ironically, like, I don't see any rain. And one of the things that they made a big point of to me was like, oh, it's always raining in this game. And I don't see any rain. I see puddles. I see evidence that it has rained.
I can see on some, like, tiny drops. Like, there's maybe 20 raindrops in the sky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't look like it's particularly pouring down.
They wanted it to literally be pouring down. And I remember referencing something from Mafia 3. And because I was working with an outsourced company, they were like, no, don't mention Mafia 3. Because they'll want that quality. And I'm like, yeah, but we can do that quality. Why can't we? I was naive, but I think we pulled it off really well.
I remember being quite impressed by the graphics, actually, and the art style and everything. I just remember it being really cool. Just didn't get enough people playing it.
Yeah, I'm watching gameplay now, and I'm like, I think this game maybe was just a bit ahead of its time.
Maybe, honestly, maybe.
Because it does actually look like quite an interesting take on Battle Royale.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and there was like, you had different classes and stuff. Looking at them now, it's bringing back weird memories from what 2017. I remember
they had like different factions, like the Blueshift and stuff like that.
Yeah, very cool. Anyway, that's good to know. What is your hot take game? The game which you disagree the most with its critical reception?
Yeah, so again, I've got to go with another shooter, and this is BioShock Infinite. I really love, obviously, the first two games. I understand why people might prefer them. But I think BioShock Infinite was doing something very interesting with its story and its aesthetic. Like, the story was kind of hard to follow, but it was going off like multiverse string theory and time travel, which back then wasn't really as saturated as it is. And I really, really enjoyed that, and it blew my mind with the twist. And I'm not going to
I've
say
not even played it, so please don't.
right. Okay, I won't say it, but what I say is there is a twist.
Yes.
It's really cool,
Mm.
and also like while the game wasn't the same game that was advertised
Mm.
for years, and that's well documented. If you go on YouTube, you'll find a lot of stuff about that. They still pulled off what they were trying to do really, really well. It had cool powers, cool aesthetic, cool shooting galleries. It was on the Xbox 360.
Mm.
Like, damn, how did they get that running?
Yeah, it's
Um,
crazy.
it was a UE3 game, and
Yeah.
it looked still sort of stellar, and it's doing things that games these days still struggle to do now. Um, I think it just doesn't get enough credit for
Yeah.
what it's trying to do, as well as like the political commentary that is kind of present throughout the game. And obviously because it's based on that time period of like I think the 1920s,
Mm.
which isn't really a period of time that is explored much in games. There is a lot of interesting stuff,
Yeah.
and having the weapons be kind of sci-fi but retro, but not in like an atom punk where
Mm.
it was interesting. It was new, but it wasn't just steampunk. It was its own like variation, and I thought that was interesting. And it's not really a spoiler, but there is a mechanic in the game where you go across like parallel realities, and I found like how they were handling the narrative changes in that was interesting.
Mm.
And I would love to go back to that world.
Yeah.
I do replay that game as well.
Interesting. I need to play all of the BioShocks because I feel like I'm really missing out there.
Oh, have you not played
I've not played
any
any
of
of
them?
them. No. I know. I'm really missing out. I've
You
got.
mistake Metroidvanias. They're
Yeah.
like the ultimate Metroidvania.
Oh, there we go.
Well,
Maybe.
Bioshock One is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did like a remaster. And I think there's
Interesting.
rumors of like a remake coming out, but
Oh, would
I
it be
don't know how
worth?
true that is.
Yeah, I think I have heard that as well. Whether to wait or not is the question. I probably
I,
will go back and play them before that at some point if I can get time.
yeah, it's surprising like how well it runs and like how good it looks because it's a UE2 game.
Yeah,
Like we're
2007
not
as well.
talking UE3 or UDK or
Mm.
UE4.
Hmm.
We're talking UE2.
Yeah,
It's like it's crazy
yeah.
what they were able to do with that game. The shooting hasn't in Bioshock 1 and 2, the shooting hasn't aged too well, but also like if you play it, it's almost like a breath of fresh air because I feel like every game afterwards had to do the whole aim down sight thing, and the Bioshock games didn't do that.
Mm.
So it's almost like it almost still feels fresh if you play
Right,
it.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and
Makes
it's definitely inspired a lot of games coming after it.
Yeah,
And I'm quite interested to see what Ken Levine's doing now with
yes.
essentially his own reboot, reimagining of Bioshock with
Mm.
Judas. I'm really interested to see what he does there.
What upcoming game are you most looking forward to playing?
Okay, I have two answers, and
Mhm.
it's based on whether you want me to answer a game that is rumored to happen
Oh.
or a game that is actually being revealed.
Let's start with the actually revealed one.
Yeah, okay.
Then we can do
Um,
the rumored one.
yeah. So the game that got revealed most recently was Lego Batman.
Oh yeah,
Uh, yeah,
that's really good.
I love Lego games.
Mhm.
I do think I started getting bored of the formula though, because it can only be used, to a certain extent. But when I saw like how they were changing it up with the Arkham style combat,
Mm.
gliding through like an open world city, But then you had that element of Lego in there as well. I was like, damn, this is literally just like, this is an Arkham game,
Yeah.
but Lego.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that because I want more Arkham games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm quite attached to DC and Batman because I was never into Batman as a kid. But when I got my first, my 360, which I would have been about 14, 15, I remember going to game and trying to pick between a few games, and it's between Alan Wake, which I didn't play until a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's criminal of me.
I didn't play it till a few
And
years ago either.
yeah, and Arkham Asylum, and I picked Arkham Asylum, and I remember reading the booklet in the back of the car on the way back home, being like so excited to get going on it. And honestly, I was like, wow, this game, like, I wasn't into Batman at the time, and it revealed so much like lore. You could like read into the characters, and I just found it so interesting. And you had this Metroidvania aspect. Wow, this game's cool, and it got me like reading into DC and like the extended characters from that, like Superman, the Flash. Started reading comic books because of that game,
Oh wow.
and yeah, to see Lego Batman kind of come back and be like a celebration of everything Lego, everything Batman, and just do both of them really well by the looks of it. I'm really excited about that. Like, genuinely, like I shouldn't be this excited for it. But
I'm super excited as well. I think it was my favorite showing from that showcase. I can't remember what it was actually. Was it a PlayStation State of Play?
It was Gamescom.
Oh, it was Gamescom. That was it. Yeah, I think it was one of my favorite announcements, non-indie announcements from that showcase.
It was my highlight of the show.
Yeah, it looked so good, and previews sound great as well, glowing from it as well. I love that they're just like taking bits from everything Batman and just mixing it all together. So cool.
I think as well, it has this great mix of it's a dark and gritty IP, but it's also really fun and colourful, and I think a lot of games that are coming out, obviously we go through cycles in the games industry and trends, and like I mentioned, I think a lot of games at the moment are very dark and gritty. Like in that Gamescom showcase, I lost count of how many Souls-like games there were, and it's like those games would be cool if they existed on their own, but in the context of everything else, it was just like, oh, it's too much of it.
I'm exactly the same.
To get like a colourful game that is just like also kind of kid friendly, which is another thing that really appeals to me, is like property, like not just games but cartoons, where they have this really well defined way of like attracting multiple audiences. Like Adventure Time, for example. It's a kid show, but it appeals to adults as well, and drops a lot of references, a lot of drug references as well. You would only get if you're an adult, which I find really great. And again, like that's something that we want to do with XGravity. Try and make games which like fit in that kind of young adult area where it appeals to different age groups.
And what was the rumoured one that you were looking for?
Yeah, so the rumoured one, and like again, this is, I have to clarify, like while I do know about a lot of what's happening in the game industry, I don't know everything, and I definitely don't know whether this one is true. But the Halo reboot, which I hear about, that to me, like, I'm really intrigued by this one, and so this is excitement coming from a different place, because basically, if anyone isn't aware, the current rumor zeitgeist for the last year or two is that like we're getting a reboot to the Halo series, which doesn't just remaster or remake, but it retells the story. So like, Halo 2 and Halo 3, for example, Halo 3 was actually meant to be part of Halo 2, but they ran out of time, so that's why we got Halo 3. So we might get like a different telling of that story, and the events may not line up with the games. And I'm really interested to see how they will retell not just the story, but also like reinvent the franchise and the gameplay. Because we've seen that gameplay evolve over the franchise quite a lot. we got Halo 4 and 5, which kind of hit the trends of like Call of Duty and fast-paced movement shooters. And then I feel like Halo Infinite tried to rein it back and also do something like, more arena focused. And I really want to see what direction they choose to go in. So it's a curiosity thing for me. Like, I just want to see from not just the fans' perspective, but also like as a developer and someone who's seen and played the originals, like they came out, like what are they doing differently and why are they doing it?
Yeah.
I really want to know.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like from even from like a writing perspective, them trying to figure out almost like a puzzle, like what things are going to piece together where. Really intriguing. I mean, hopefully the rumors are true.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I feel like that series needs a reboot, to be honest.
It definitely does, yeah. What is your memory card game? If you could wipe a game from your memory and experience playing it for the first time again, what game would you choose?
This was easy. Life is Strange.
Oh, okay.
I find them to be a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I understand like some of the writing is a little bit cringy sometimes, but I really resonate with those games, and I think the first one especially I really enjoyed. And I'm going to try and avoid hitting on story spoilers, but basically there are some really dark twists that come out of nowhere several times throughout the story. And each time they happen, I'm like, wow, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah.
I remember like playing them at the time, and I was just like, I was literally just like so shook that they would even do that in a game.
Yeah.
And like it didn't come across like it would be that type of game. And I think that's the thing that I really enjoyed is the tonal dissonance within the game, and it was used to like really good effect. I don't think people give the games enough credit for that. But I would love to just wipe my memory and just re-experience that like shock and awe and emotion again.
Yeah.
And honestly, each of those games, like I go away in tears because they're just so emotional.
Yeah, no, I think you're right that it doesn't get the credit it deserves. I've actually only played the first one, so I maybe will replay it and play some others at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be that tone of game, and it's not necessarily the whole tone of it is that, but it's you're right. They come out of nowhere.
I think it was the latest Life is Strange game. No, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. That's Double Exposure.
Oh yeah, True Colors.
True Colors is what I'm thinking of. Sorry, that game did something very similar as well with the tonal dissonance. I think they definitely ran out of budget, which may be why it wasn't received as well, because I think they had to cut some stuff. But I really enjoyed that one as well because it did something similar. So if you wanted to play another of those types of games, I would recommend that one.
Okay, I will have a look.
Yeah.
I'm such I'm such a release order person. I would have to do them all.
Yeah.
But thank you, I appreciate it.
Because they're all their own like independent stories within the shared world.
Yeah.
It's like you can play it like that, but you could also just play them like as their own thing.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Apart from the newest one, which is definitely just the sequel.
The sequel to Life is Strange, yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, what is one game you think everyone should play? The game you answer with will be placed into the Hall of Games for future generations, as well as future content for this podcast.
Okay, so I had to think about this one. And I mentioned this game already in our conversation.
Excellent.
It's going to be Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
Just at that topic.
That's great.
Like we were saying, I really feel like it revolutionized not just the VR genre, but it kind of redefined like what a game could be. Because it's more than a game. I think it's like it is an immersive experience. The physics systems in that game I've never seen done so well. They're so stable that you can play the game from start to finish, carrying the same bucket from the start and using it to put items in. So like I'm not sure if you I'm not sure if you played it, but
No.
basically, like on your wrists, you have one inventory slot, and you could like grab something and you put it in.
Okay, that makes
So you
sense.
have two inventory slots, but you could get around it
Oh,
by
no way.
carrying a bucket, and you can put grenades and healing items in the bucket,
Wow, that's so cool.
and it's just physics based, and you can just carry it around. And when you get into combat, you're like,
Put it
right, I'll
down.
just put this bucket over here, bucket of grenades. Oh, there's
That's
an enemy. I'll get
amazing.
a grenade out of the bucket of grenades.
Yeah. Wow, that's
And
awesome, actually. I love that.
yeah, and the fact that you can like go and move your hand on a shelf, and you can like move stuff around, and
Mm.
it feels so tactile, as well as the lighting for a VR game, not just a VR game. Hell, the lighting for even a flat screen console game is insane.
Mm.
What they managed to do, like they've got GI bounces, and it's not just. I'm not just talking like Digital Foundry technical level, but I'm just talking like artistically.
Mm-hmm.
The style of the game is so unique, and I think that the main thing that really sells you living in this world is how the sense of scale is so much different than if you're playing a first person shooter
Yeah.
than you're actually in this world. Because a lot of people might not notice this, but when you play a lot of games like on console, environments are very much designed and distorted around your perception of the world. So, like a doorway in The Last of Us, you'll find is actually really, really tall
Mm.
and slightly thicker than it should be to allow for the third person camera to
Oh, yeah.
transition through different environments.
Mm.
First person shooters as well, they have to play with scale. Um, it's called the plus or minus 30% rule. I've heard.
That's
Sometimes
good.
things are scaled up, sometimes things are scaled down. But in VR, like you're even way more sensitive to that
Mm.
because you have your own perception that your brain has learned across your entire life. So it knows if something's not right
Mm.
because our brains are incredibly good at pattern recognition. Um, and like Half Life Alex just nails it.
Yeah.
Like things feel real. Like you could get lost in that world, and it's the first VR game where I was able to play that for like 3 hours straight and not feel sick, and just be like, "Where am I again?"
Yeah. That's a
And then
really cool point about like
yeah,
just being able to just know that something's not quite right just because you can sense the scale, like, and that's really cool. That's cool. I'll have to play it.
yeah. And I think the reason why I say that people should play it is from two perspectives. If you're a gamer, I think that it is just an experience to show you like what you could have,
Mm.
you know, like what games could look like in the future, and like how those types of experiences and gameplay mechanics can be twisted. Like you can create your own cover by getting behind a car door. You can reach in the back of a boot. You know, that's really great.
Mm.
And then for future game developers, I really want to see people take that and learn from it and learn like what a game should look like,
Mm.
and what we can do and how we can play with certain like genre norms and twist that for new like devices.
Mm.
And I just think it's a really important game. And like Valve, again, they always do this of every game. They lay
Yeah.
down something so important every time they do it.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah,
and
that's my game.
that's a great answer. Yeah, they are so good at like just being like, okay, well, what if there's this one slight change in this particular game, and I guess the change for Half Life Alex is just that it's in VR, and then they're like, okay, now let's work everything with that in mind the whole way. That's so cool. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like your traditional first person shooter is all based on sight lines,
Mm.
how the HUD's laid out, where the gun is on the screen, and it's all very carefully, meticulously crafted around that player experience. In VR, you can't really have a HUD. Uh,
Yeah.
you can't guarantee where the player's looking. The player can shoot where they're not looking because they can like do that behind
Yeah.
them. You have to create
That's
gameplay
so true.
experiences which break those norms,
Yeah.
and it really, I think it's really interesting. It's a really interesting exercise because it takes us back, almost 20 years before a lot of these genres have been defined with defined mechanics. Like like I was saying, Doom kind of spawned first-person shooters, and then it became standardized. Like you play a first-person shooter, you kind of expect to look down iron sights. If you hold down the trigger, you hold down the right trigger, you fire the gun. You press X, you reload the gun. Like it's defined, and that there's a reason for that, and it's to do with player expectations as well as like not having to relearn the game. But I think it's important to go back to that point, to try and break out of that box, creatively speaking, and find new solutions, which are born from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say that game.
Absolutely stellar answer, honestly. That's great. And with that is all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for coming on, Luna. You've been absolutely brilliant. Just before we go, do you want to go ahead and tell the people where they can find you and how to keep up to date with XGravity news?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow us on the social medias. So we're quite active with developer side stuff on Blue Sky, as well as LinkedIn. So if you're on the game development side, that's where to follow us if you're just interested. And then in terms of like showing more of XGravity, we're on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So those are probably the best places to follow us, as well as obviously, follow and wishlist the game on Steam, and we'll be posting some updates in the following months.
Yeah, excellent. Do you want to shout out? You've got a creator meetup soon, haven't you? On Saturday, is that right?
So that was just a Saturday that came up.
You're joking me. I don't know why I thought it was this Saturday.
Yeah, that was really great. It was like a general creators meetup of like Twitch streamers as well as game developers, all in a skate park, and I got to show a skateboarding game in a skate park. Like, how cool is that?
That is so cool.
I also got like this really cool controller out of it.
Oh wow! Wow, what's on the analog sticks?
Stuff. Yeah, it's got like buttons on the back, and it's like a really interesting texture to it.
Cool.
But yeah, really excited to try it out.
That's awesome. Yeah, anyway, sorry everyone, you can't make it to that creator meetup.
We'll be doing more events in the future. We'll be attending a lot more of them. We're still figuring out, I think, what the next one is going to be, because I think the creators meetup was the last one that we exhibited at this year. But yeah, we'll be active on social media. So if you wanna try out the game, we'll be looking for ways to put a demo out publicly, as well as just get more events, and you can find us there and talk to us.
Yep. Excellent. Well, there you have it, everyone. Go check out Luna everywhere you can, and Blueshift and XGravity on Steam. Don't forget to follow and wishlist. Thank you all very much for listening. Thank you again, Luna, for coming on. I've been Sam Hall. I wish you all a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time on the Hall of Games podcast. So that was episode 7 of the Hall of Games podcast. Thank you all for listening, and thank you to Luna for a fantastic memory card interview. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and leave a comment telling me the game that means the most to you and why. You can help support the podcast by going to patreon.com/SamHallOfGames, and for $2.99 a month you can sign up to the Director's Cut tier, which gets you early, extended versions of every memory card episode. That means more answers from Luna and previous guests. Thank you to our current Patreons, Mr. Jim Bob and Astronomy. You can find me almost anywhere at Sam Hall of Games. Thank you to Bluefields for the music. Go play some games, and I'll see you next time on the Hall of Games podcast.